Should you cold call to get social media marketing agency clients in 2020? Let's discuss that right now. What's going on? Welcome back to another video, guys. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button. And if you like this type of content, make sure to hit the like button to tell YouTube that you like this content. Plus, it helps me out, so I would really appreciate you doing that for me. So the short answer is no. But if you want the long answer, here we go. So from my short experience with cold calling, I only did it for a couple of weeks. I got very little results. Most of the calls went like this. Hey John, just wondering if you're free for a quick chat on Saturday about X, Y, and Z. Now, when I did cold calling, right, there was a lot of responses I got. So here were the most common responses I got. Number 1, follow up with me next week. Number 2, I'm busy right now, but maybe you can give me a call back in a week or so. Number 3, why don't you just pop me an email and I'll get back to you there. And number 4, this was the only response I was getting that was actually of substance, right? And that was, I had a conversation with someone where he actually already had someone doing digital marketing for him, but he just had some guy he knew who was pretty much doing it pro bono, who was doing it for free. So it wasn't really setting a very good expectation, right? If he was paying this guy for free, was he gonna pay me as a newcomer? So those responses weren't very positive, and that's what I noticed with cold calling, is that most people get cold calls all day long. You know, they get salespeople calling them up, and if I get a cold call from someone, I would probably just put down the phone. Now with cold calls as well, you have to face rejection over and over again. When you're starting off, I don't think that's a good thing to do. That can be something you can do when you are a seasoned veteran at sales, you know how to take a good no from someone, and you just have that under wraps. Whereas when you're starting off, you want to build your confidence, and if you're constantly getting shut down with no, it's not really going to help you get there, right? And for me, a huge disadvantage of actually doing cold calls is the number of cold calls you've got to do each day to get an actual client is crazy. So we can send out like hundreds of DMs every single day, but if we were to do that and do that over the phone and call 100 businesses, that would take us a very long time. It's also something that we couldn't really outsource too early on. Right now we have a VA who pretty much does all the messaging for us. So if I was to start cold calling, I'd have to pick up the phone and I'd have to call businesses myself. So here's the biggest reasons why cold calling is not really something I would advise you to do when you're starting off. It might be something to look at after a few months or when you've gotten success, but starting off, here's the reasons why. Number 1, you will constantly be told no. And you will constantly be brushed off where people aren't actually willing to say no to you. So they'll just say, hey, follow up with me next week, or email me over some information. That's a no, but they just don't want to say it to you. Number 2 is that the number of calls you would have to do to get the same amount of responses and opt-ins from people doing email or DMs, it's just substantially more. So what you can do instead is you can do one of these 4 things. You can become a master at messaging on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, or via email with cold email. If you can become very good at these and you can prove to yourself and you've got a really good script to follow and you've got a really good message that just really spikes an interest in someone, focus on that, because what you can do is you can build that up, you can test that out, and let's say you get a few responses and you see this is working. What you can do is you can hire a VA or someone in a lower cost country where they can do all of that for you. They can send all the emails, or you could automate all of it, which is what we do. So all of the emails we send are automatically going out to people. So the benefits of not doing cold calling is that you don't have to have as much confidence on the phone, right? When you're starting off, I know for me, it was very nerve-wracking to hop on a cold call with someone. Whereas if I could email them or if I could DM them and get further information from them, it would make the call a lot easier when we eventually had a call, maybe after a week or 2. Number 2 is that you can just get more quantity in, right? You can talk to more businesses, you can send more DMs, send more emails, whereas phone calls, you're just capped at a certain limit. And another big reason why I don't really do cold calls is that I work with primarily international clients. So clients who are normally based in the US or other countries. So if I was to call them from Ireland, it would cost me a lot of money. Obviously I could use Skype or an application like that, but there would be a lot of cost involved, right? Secondly is that they'd see that it's a foreign number and they might see that as being a bit sketchy or a bit suspect, and they probably won't answer the call. So if you want to work with businesses that are in the same country that you're in, yeah, okay, it could work, you know, that's not a problem there. But if you are going for e-commerce brands and businesses that are online, you're probably better off going down the route of email outreach or DM outreach. But if you are really, really confident on the phone and you just have a really good way of selling people and getting people involved and getting people interested in what you have to offer, maybe cold calling is for you. Maybe it's going to work very well for you. I just know that it didn't really work very well for me, and that most people that I work with would find the same thing. They would find it quite nerve-wracking when they're starting off, and it'd also feel like it was a bit of a waste of time. So if you've heard someone else out there saying that you've got to do cold calling, just notice that you don't have to. You can if you want, and it can be very good, right? I don't want to bash cold calling. I know people close a lot of deals with it. But when you're starting off, just focus on the things that you're more comfortable with, you're going to be more confident at, because if you're comfortable and you're confident with them, you're going to do them more frequently, right? So when I started off and I started doing cold calling, I did it very sporadically. I did maybe a few calls on a Tuesday, a couple on the Thursday, one on the Friday, and then that was it, because I didn't enjoy the process. I was very, very uncomfortable doing it. So eventually I just didn't do it, right? So I took the easy route out and I just didn't do it. Whereas if you can find email or DM or message outreach and you find that a little bit easier and something that you can just do more frequently, go with that. It's better to show up every single day doing something that you know you can do rather than try and do this thing that you're not really comfortable with and just get suboptimal results with it then. So guys, the moral of the story is 1, do cold calling if you are comfortable with calling people. And if it's something you're really good at, don't do it if you're going to be working with international clients, because it's just going to be a huge barrier when they see a foreign number or a foreign number. It's going to be a huge barrier when they see a foreign number calling them. Play to your strengths. So if you are confident at calling, do calling. And if you are more confident at sending messages, do messaging. It's like with anything I advise, pick something that you can do and that you can do consistently. There's no point of finding the best strategy or the best tactic if you find it really hard and something that you really don't like doing. Because even if it's the best thing ever, it doesn't matter if you don't show up and do it every day. So even if cold calling was amazing and people were closing lots of deals, it wouldn't be something I would do straight away because I'm not very comfortable with doing it, and I would much prefer set up a system where we do emails and we do messaging, and that would work a lot better for me. Now, if you do want to start sending messages to businesses or emails, you can check out my 6-figure roadmap that is linked down below. I've got scripts and I've got templates that you can copy and paste to get that started for yourself. I know myself, when I was starting, it was very, very hard to come up with scripts and templates that actually worked. So you can just take what I use, you can copy it, alter them a little bit, change it up a bit, and use my fundamental structure there. And again, those are scripts and templates that I use to sign multiple clients, so you should be able to get decent responses with them. So yeah, hop down to the link in the description, you can check that out. And apart from that, subscribe if you haven't already. Please do leave me a like, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.